What is up, and welcome to Into the Smoke, your premier source for everything Counter-Strike on the North America side. Today, I've got my lovely guests, P. Hollywood and D Money over here. We got no CJ. It's quite sad. Very sad to be missing.
It is sad.
He's left the group. Our IGL.
He no longer likes Counter-Strike. He's out.
And the new premier games without CJ have been going nothing but victoriously and swimmingly.
Been going good.
Oh,
we smashed one last night right before we went to bed.
No, I have not felt that.
He actually won 2 in a row.
I have felt the struggle bus.
We're doing good. I'm placing above 15K off start of this season. Confirmed.
We're in some high lobbies right now.
New record? I need to change my group, the current group I've been playing with. It's like you play to those around you, and I think that I've been playing to those that are around me, which is a little bit below my preferred skill level. I do think sometimes when I play with you guys, I also don't play to those around me, and I play much worse. But sometimes there's better.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
It's always a flip-flop.
And speaking of flip-flops, we had a lot to cover from the weekend as we look at the Blast bounty system. Results of that are in. PARIVISION, a little bit of a surprise here. And, I mean, I guess it's just Jame time. Is this surprising from you guys? Hasn't won an event since 2022 at the Major, an S-tier event. I think he's won some challenger stuff along the way. But crazy story, crazy comeback from him. Are we surprised, or is this just normal stuff?
I think it's very surprising. I mean, I think they had a good run at the end of the last Major, but I think it would be kind of crazy to say it's not a surprise for them to win this event. I mean, they added Zwei, so I think that we actually talked about it in one of the CS videos I did about the rosters. It's like they replaced their worst player and added Zwei, he's a good player, and he has a lot of experience now playing with Spirit and a bunch of big events. But I think regardless, adding him to a brand new roster and them making a grand final and winning too against a lot of these like big name teams it's pretty miraculous.
No, 100%. I was actually really impressed with them. I think it might have been Davis who said it on the last one, who was really excited about PARIVISION and how they were going. But yeah, they beat a lot of good teams. I mean, they played Spirit. Obviously, excuse me, that was the one I was looking forward to most, just because of Zwei and him previously being on Spirit, going against them, and him being able to give Donk some of his worst stats, and I guess of the year so far, obviously, because it's the first tournament. But just in general, overall, just shows that maybe the Spirit team needs more time, or PARIVISION's just on it right now. And then Furia is the same way. That's another top-tier team. Sure, they looked a little bit shaky, but that's no discredit to PARIVISION. And then obviously in the finals, I mean, they were going against the Falcons. No shame to them. They had a sub, and they didn't have their coach, but they typically choke in the finals. But I don't think it's any of that. I think PARIVISION would just own their game, and I'm really excited to see what they look like going forward. Like, could they potentially be a top 5 contender for the rest of the season? Or is this just like a one-off fluke?
Well, I mean, I'll get back to the Falcons comment you made there, because I want to dissect that. But we'll get there. But no, I agree. On the PARIVISION side, it's crazy. It's also crazy to me because I think Jame is a player who, watching his Outsiders run on the not VP roster back in the day, was super, super incredible. And he's always been such like a almost era-defining player. He does weird stuff. He's a very unique individual in his play style. And it just feels like you actually have 4 players that are bought into the strategy. And it felt like everybody they played just couldn't figure it out. It frustrated Spirit. It frustrated Falcons. Everybody they played, you could tell, like, the teams they were playing weren't playing normal. Like, not only did they beat Falcons, they 3-0'd Falcons.
Yeah.
And then it's like, they made Dunk have 2 of his worst maps. And it's like, you just get into weird rhythms when these teams are saving and they're just doing odd stuff. And, like, it's just really unpredictable. Like, they were doing that 4-1 strat on Dust 2 versus the Falcons. And, like, you could tell Falcons were like, dude, what is going on? We literally got 1 kill and they're about to save a 4-stack with guns. Like, what are we doing? This is weird.
Yeah. I think it's crazy. I mean, they beat 2 of the top 3 teams in the world with Falcons and Furia, and then the Falcons that just beat Vitality as well. So, like, it's not like Falcons were, like, super off their game playing with a sub and a backup coach. I mean, they beat the best team in the world in Vitality. So it's like, regardless, this was a big-time matchup for PARIVISION to face them in the finals. So, I mean, I think it speaks a lot for PARIVISION to be able to pull off the upsets that they did, in my opinion. Like, I hope that they're a team that can be a contender all year, and I think that this show has shown that they do have what it takes to be a contender.
I just hope that it's not like the little tricks that they pull, their strats and their saving techniques don't really. I think a problem that may come is that, like, teams will start to figure this out. You know, you had, I think it was the Paris Major or whatever, where a lot of the lower ranked teams snuck in and was able to get into the finals. And it's because a lot of times these upper teams don't have the most experience against some of these more tier 2 teams. So they can, not that what PARIVISION did was like a scam or a trick, but it's like now you're going to end up playing them more. You're becoming more accustomed to their play style, and you know how it is, so you counter that and work a way around it. So it's more about just like how they're going to overcome the top teams when maybe they get in more form. Maybe this was just shakiness from all of them. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like you said, Zwei came in. He's a new player. This is not, I mean, there's the joke that he basically found 4 guys off of Face It and built a team around it. But But obviously, Zway is on a real player from a real big team and is a name that we already know. But kind of seeing them come to fruition into this, like, everything they have built to now, it's like, to your point, will they last? I don't really know. I think this was kind of like a perfect storm. But you also think, like, James been around for a long time. These strats he's deployed against Nico. He's done Furia before. He's played these big rosters. So it's like, you've seen him do this before. I just don't think with round count 13 that we thought it was quite as plausible, but then also with Zway and everything else. But in the two events, the two recent events they've played in now, the run of VRS points and HLTV points is insane.
Yeah.
They went from a crazy major run deep into the third stage, and then now you win an event. It's like they went from not on the maps, I think they're fourth now, which is like insane.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy too, like with Zway, the addition, which I'm not saying that he's the X factor by any means, but the last two teams he's transferred to, they literally won their very first event. They won Cologne when he got the Spirit, and now they've won this with PARIVISION. So it's kind of crazy.
You got to feel like you got the high hand.
He's a little golden goose for your team to win its next event.
Yeah. The good news
is you add him, go to grand finals.
100%. Speaking of golden gooses, though, Falcons had a step-in sub, and they looked incredible. Like, I'm certain they're about to get a big contract. Like, good on them for that. But Falcons did drop what they probably shouldn't have dropped versus a team, if we look at on paper, that they probably should have beat even down a man. But Path, you were just defending them, so I want to keep that energy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a full-on defense. Like, I mean, I will give the Falcons some credit because even with their sub, the sub looked nice. Nucleons he had a lot of good series, especially against Vitality, obviously in the Mirage where both him and Nico were popping off. And I think the team was kind of vibing. I think we said it on the last show where it's like maybe what the Falcons needed was with Kaisuke having the visa issues not being able to attend, that maybe they can be a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more free-flowing. Maybe Nico's not getting as upset. Now, obviously with hindsight, we know that was still the case, obviously, because he's Nico. But, well, they could be relaxed and they could play their game and not really feel that pressure. But obviously when it came down to the finals, I mean, it just felt more like the Falcons' same of like, they buckling under the pressure. I mean, Nico goes from dropping an insane amount of kills against Vitality, looking like back to his old self, top-tier master player, to just back to the same old, where they can't get a footing on anything. They just look lost.
The biggest thing for me, I think, was the fact that Mondesi was just like, he fell flat in this final series. He played really good against Vitality. He played tremendous against Liquid. And so I think that we've talked about it before. When he's popping off, they can beat anybody. And I think that was really the main thing here. I mean, the last two maps were really close. The first map was 13-9, so it was close-ish. But like, whenever your AWPer isn't playing good, I think he was the fourth-ranked player on the team, like as far as stats go. Whenever that's happening with Mondesi, they're not going to find success. And Nucleons, like you said, he actually played really good to be a stand-in, like especially against Vitality map 3. I mean, that's a big moment in his career right there, like a career-defining moment as he's trying to become a professional on like a major tier 1 team, trying to play the best team in the world in a decider map. And he arrived and played great on Mirage. I think it was really big for him. I think he'll probably end up getting picked up by somebody. I don't know if it'll be a tier 1 team yet, but I think people are going to look at that and be like, this guy's kind of he's got some sauce to him. We can maybe use that on our roster.
Yeah, I definitely think his stock went up. I mean, also not having coached there also hurts a little bit too. But like, for me, this is still an unacceptable loss by every far stretch of the imagination. This feels like the Golden State Warriors with KD and Steph. Like, you have Nico and Mondesi, which are arguably supposed to be one of the greatest riflers of all time, maybe even one of the greatest operas of all time. You have them on this team, and you're missing Kyosuke, who is a great player. But like, if the peak Miami Heat are missing their fourth best scorer and they lose a game to the Charlotte Hornets, like, who cares? Like, that's unacceptable. And that's just how it feels to me. Like, no shade to PARIVISION, but it's one of those where it's like, you're supposed to be the best roster money has ever been able to assemble. And you have an inconvenience, don't get me wrong, but you're not losing to Vitality. You beat them. You beat your demon. You beat the hardest opponent. And then you lose to a team that going into this event is, for all intents and purposes, an insignificant team. If you lose to a Spirit, it's okay. You lose to a Furia, it's okay. You lose to a Vitality, it's okay. But all of those got taken off the map, or you beat them, and then you lose to PARIVISION. It just feels flat. It feels exactly like the Falcons' MO. You're 0 for 5 in the last finals with Mondesi. Mondesi wasn't able to win an event last year. He looked bad in the finals. And I think at this point we have to start questioning, like, is Mondesi a top 5 player when it matters? Can you farm in the early rounds? Can you farm in groups? Sure. But like in finals, I've not seen it since he's been on G2.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I do think it's kind of crazy to say the Charlotte Hornets to Heat comparison. Because, I mean, the Heat lost to the Spurs when they had that crazy lineup, so who knows?
Yeah, but that's Tim Duncan and some studs on there.
Yeah, but I mean, PARIVISION just beat Furia. PARIVISION just beat Spirit.
No, for sure.
It's not like they're bad.
No. I'm not saying they're bad. It's just
what
to me.
What about those teams then?
I think so I think we can hop into the next side. When you look at those guys, it's like, Who else are you concerned with? Like, are you concerned with a Furia more now, a Vitality more now, or a Spirit more now? Like, what is that?
Uh, Furia, I'm kind of concerned with Furia just because they dropped so many maps throughout this event. Like I think that's one thing. If you look at Falcons, they didn't drop a map at all until they played Vitality and they went 2-1. Furia was dropping maps in the group stage. They dropped maps to Heroic here. They lost to PARIVISION. So I think they're one that I'm actually looking at that's kind of questionable. Spirit, on the other hand, I think they'll rebound. I think this was like it's a brand new roster. The main thing with me with this is it's like a brand new IGL. Like, yeah, they're bringing Magix and yeah, they're bringing Zontix back to the starting roster, but it's a brand new system. They're trying to all figure out together as a team. I think this is one of those events where they just needed to get some reps under their belt and kind of work as a team.
I think what we do is let's hop into a react segment, right? Where we're gonna talk about, is this an overreaction, underreaction, or is this just fit for the course based on kind of what everybody was saying for the weekend. The first one we have, and I'll let you answer first, Pat, is Furia are back to mid, because at the end of the day, before their run at the end of last season, we were all saying they're a mid-level team. They lose the pain. They don't go on runs, whatever. They did have like a 5 or 6 event streak where they've gotten hot. Have they reverted back? You think that's an overreactive take? You think that's an underreactive take? You think that's
I think that's just right. I've announced my grievances with Furia plenty of times on the show here. I'm not saying that their wins were flukes or anything. They were in a very solid form. It's just if we look back to the earlier 2025 season, that is the real Furia. That is the Furia that was going through the hardships. And it's not like they can't reach those heights. They've shown that they can. They got Quesarado, they got Malador, you got the Legend of Fallen. They have a team that is there. It just seems like they always crumble, not in the Falcons' way of crumbling when they're at the final, at the top of the mountain. They just seem to crumble in the early stages, the quarters, the semis. And sometimes they can go through that, but it's the same with the Falcons. Malador is a fantastic opper. But if you cannot get him the op and he cannot perform, it's like a part of that team falls around. And it's the same way with Quesarado. If he's not clicking heads with the AK the match, it's like your team is significantly falling off.
So you're saying this is closer to Spirit and Vitality are probably on an echelon by themselves, and Fury belongs in the next one, but they're not in that first one. They probably haven't been.
Yeah, it's like they'll can win, get there. But it's like if they could master the art of consistency and always playing to their game, they definitely have what it takes to win more events this year. I mean, I'm sure they will probably win an event or two this year. Like, I don't think it's implausible. It's just they just look very shaky and rocky, and they'll probably go through a bunch of ups and downs.
I think they'll win a few events this year. I just think it ultimately comes down to Malador. And I think against PARIVISION, he was kind of irrelevant. He didn't play good at all. And it was kind of like what you said. They could never really build momentum to get their economy in the right position where it's like he's got an op consistently. He would just lose it, and then they would chain a few rounds in a row losing. He can't play with an AK. We've talked about that multiple times. So I think they have what it takes, like you said, but it comes down to, is Malador playing really well? If he's playing really well, this team can do really good.
Yeah, to me, I think I agree as well. I think this is a perfectly summarized statement. And that's not to say that they're bad. That's not to say that they can't win. But if they want to be in that elite echelon, if they do not want to be considered a part of the mid pack of the top tier, then the only way that you can do that is Malador has to be Monacy level or better. And that's not to say I don't think he can, because I think he's more than capable of that. Mm-hmm. But that is the biggest struggle with Falcons. But the Falcons also have Nico, which is an insane. You also have Kioske, who's an insane talent. So you would say that they have more talent around them, and they're struggling to win. Mm-hmm. So how do you expect Furia to consistently be at the top? Because that Vitality squad is unbelievably well balanced. And then Donk is far and away the best player in the world. And it's like, you don't have one of those things on your team. How do you consistently compete and expect to beat those teams consistently?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure. I don't know. I hate on them, but like I do think they have what it takes. It's just a matter of time and getting together the team, and maybe with the new changes to some maps and maybe with the Nubis into the pool, maybe it'll work out better for them. They've always had a deep map pool. A lot of the other teams have always struggled with was map pool. So maybe that will always come back to be Furia's strong suit and push them over the edge. And maybe Fallen's just got some more tricks up his sleeve, and they'll be able to pull off. Because, I mean, I think he's fallen into the IGL role really well, and he's doing a fantastic job. I believe in him somewhat, but I think they're just right being in the mid spot right now.
Speaking of belief, the next one we got is about Team Spirit. And the question here is, when we look at this roster, is the Spirit new team? Maybe it isn't it. Maybe this wasn't the good move. They looked a little bit shaky. Obviously, it felt like the calls were a little bit off. Magix joked beforehand that, hey, we got a really good play. It's called Don't Kill Everybody. He didn't. And when he didn't, they lost. So you probably need him a few more plays in the book. So we buying this, or what do we think? This is overrated, underrated, perfect take, or what do you got, Davis?
I'm gonna say I think just right. And the thing that speaks to me the most is the interview that Magic's had after their series. Whenever they got bounced by PARIVISION, it seemed like he was really, really like down in the dumps and kind of at a loss for words, didn't really know what to say. And to me, that seems like he's really doubting himself. And I think as an IGL, you need to be really confident in the way that you want to play the game and have your strategies. And like, that's what your team lives and dies by. It's like, no, this is the way we're going to play the game. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm gone, obviously. But as an IGL, you have to be really strong in your beliefs of what you think should be happening. And that interview after the game, whenever they lost, it just showed me that like he wasn't really confident in what he was playing. He wasn't really confident in putting Donk in the right positions. And he said that in the interview. He was like, we had a bunch of bad setups for a couple of executes that they had late in the game. And so I think that just a little bit of doubt that's already been implanted into his head, knowing that it's like a brand new roster. This is a test, really. I don't think that's a good thing to start out this roster.
There's also a lot of variables too, because when you look at that team, it's like technically Tanir is in Zontic's old spot. So then it's like, do you have them swap back? Do they each play differently? Like who anchors what? Like what does it look like? And then on top of that, we saw at the end of last year going into the major, and I don't know if this is a temporary change or more of a permanent change, but Donk started playing a lot less entry, a lot less selfish, a lot more kind of get a kill and get out. Like no more like, let me just go through the wall. Let's see how much damage I can do. But then now it kind of feels like they're back to the, oh, well, Donk, we need you to get 2 or 3 and we can win. And then we saw when he doesn't get 2 or 3, you don't win. They have previously won without him get 2 or 3, but this time you didn't. And you might have a little bit of Zway had some intel and he knew some strats and kind of what they would do and, so on and so forth. But, Zway didn't really play with Magics like that. So it does kind of feel like the calls got a little flat for me. So I think it's probably an overreaction. I think we give them this season. But if they're not competing for the major, it's rebuild. Something's got to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's an overreaction just because I think it's just a little too early to tell right now. I think that's the biggest thing. And, this been Magic stepping in for his first time as IGL. It begs the question of like, sure, what we got right now. To me, I mean, yeah, there were some misplays, there were some misexecutes, but to me, this is spirit at its core almost when I look back at the 2025 season under the reign of Chopper as the IGL. It was just always a bunch of misexecutions, their T-sides not being very solid, and you're just relying on Donk to go out there and be the superstar. And while that is a solid strategy, and I think Magic's is probably just joking around a little bit, but it probably does have some truth to it. I think it just needs time. This team just needs time. And maybe they'll have it because this is the roster minus the Chopper that was winners of the majors, okay? And Magic didn't play terrible. His crosshair was very questionable.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna deny the little quadrants they had going on there, but
insane.
He played not as bad as what he was when we last seen him before he got benched off of Spirit. So I don't know how this is going to work with Zontas and Tanir, but I'm excited to see the future for them because I mean, regardless, they are Spirit. I think they have potential. This is just a little bit of an overreaction right now.
I was so confused the first time when it showed his crosshair, his POV. I remember he was sitting there playing, I think it was Mirage the first time I noticed that he was sitting there and he was holding apartments. And I was like, is this some type of spectator glitch right now? And then they switched to another player and it just was like no normal crosshair. And I'm like, oh, no, I guess he's just playing with a literal full screen crosshair. It was like the craziest thing ever.
It was a weird one. On top of that, when I think about this from a long-term perspective, it's just an interesting kind of POV because with Jame being able to run this, and then obviously Falcons, you've got a lot of questions as it relates to Kixon. When you look at Furia, you have arguably one of the best operas ever in Fallen who can still pick up the op and be creative in weird ways. That's very similar to a Jame. And then on Vitality, you have Apex, who is an insane rifler during his peak and can still at times shoot incredibly well. It kind of feels like if you're Spirit, it's Magic's, when he has a little bit going, he can be. When they won the major, he was the second best player on the team very clearly. And if you get that version of him, it feels like you can be competitive. But if you get the Kerrigan version of him, this team isn't built to survive like that. It's not built to survive if you have, we saw with Chopper. Chopper could win you pistol rounds, but he couldn't win you rifle rounds. And if Magix isn't getting you pistol rounds and he's not getting you rifle rounds, it doesn't really matter how good his calls are. You're not going to be able to run a 0.6 on this team and win. Donk can carry, but the weight has to get lighter on his shoulders, not heavier. And when you start running a 0.6, 0.7, that's when it's really, really hurtful.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree.
And then so the last one we're going to have is going to be about the beloved Vitality, the one that everybody loves to talk about. But is Vitality not on top anymore? Davis, what do you got?
I'm going to say
Difficulty.
this is a difficult one right here. This is a difficult one because I want to say this is an underreaction. But I'm actually going to say it's just right because I will say the season just started. They've been on a little bit of a hiatus. They won everything last year, so I don't think
what are you practicing?
Yeah, I don't think they're necessarily motivated to like be at their best right now. But at the end of the day, you lost to a Falcons team with a backup in his first LAN ever, and an assistant coach who coaches an academy team.
Who?
And you lost.
Well, that's
Zahu?
because Nico just thought it was 2018 for some reason.
Yeah, but Zahu? Who?
Zylo now.
Yeah, Zahu.
Nah, I mean, yeah, Zawu played bad.
He literally
there's
watched
no-
Don't play bad and was like, Don't got a what was that, a 1.05? He had a 0.83 map. I can't believe that. I'm going to do a 0.85 on the series.
Yeah, I'm going to drop a 0.5 this map.
I'm not going to disagree. Obviously, there's no way you can disagree. He played horrible. I don't know if that's stat-wise is his worst performance ever, but it's got to definitely be up there.
I think it was like 2 of his 10 worst maps of his career happened in that.
Yeah, so like that is insane. And then what's funny is we've always joked around with Vitality of like, oh, well, they don't have the superstar. Like Spirit, like if Don't doesn't perform, the team just loses. I mean, well, here we have Zywoo not performing and the team loses. I'm not saying Zywoo is the only carry on that team because that's obviously not true. But, I mean, it wasn't just Zywoo that was sucking. I think he sucked the hardest, but he was not the only one on that team.
I'm pretty sure he actually, I think Apex was still a little worse.
Well,
but,
yeah, we kind of keep the IGL out of the conversation.
No, but I mean, but in real truth, Rops also didn't look good. Rops was really shaky. And what's weird is Nico was rolling, and it was actually Nico versus Rops pretty heavily in that series, and Nico was winning. But the weird one was Nucleons was slaying Zywoo. He was just like murdering him. It made no sense. And realistically, it's probably that they have never played this kid before. They have no reads on this guy. And then all of a sudden, he's just in weird, unpredictable spots. But again, you would assume, being one of the greatest players in the world, you'd be able to compensate for that. But maybe just not enough time, maybe just not enough good prep or strats or what. But like, dude, Nucleons and Nico in that series, they just went
berserk. Yeah, completely berserk.
I didn't give my thing. For me, Vitality not on the top is an overreaction. I think it's too soon to tell. They played horrible. Sure, if that trend continues, yeah, they're not in the top anymore. But I don't foresee that as their future outcome. I mean, right now, I don't see another team, if we just look through everything, that will be like team-wise up there with them like consistently. I feel like there's a lot of I don't think Vitality will ever drop out of like the top 3. Like at least maybe VRS is different just because they'll skip events and other teams will come in. But like for like the HLTV rankings and stuff, like they are always going to be on top with this roster unless something drastic happens.
For me, I feel like this is perfectly spot on, but I think that's because there's not a top anymore. I think last year we went through a whole season where Counter-Strike was basically a sword and they were the tip of the sword and that was it. Everybody else was somewhere down the blade. Maybe you're closer to the front, maybe you're closer to the back, but at the end of the day, there's only one tip. Whereas like right now, it feels a lot flatter. It feels a lot more like, we're some type of crazy sledgehammer at this point. There's about 4 or 5 teams that could be mashed at the front. I mean, PARIVISION won this event. And we joked about it going into it, that it'd be cool if PARIVISION won it. But the reality is they did. And you wouldn't have been any more surprised if Falcons wanted a man down. You wouldn't have been surprised if Spirit won it with their first time with this new roster. You wouldn't have been surprised if Furia came out hot as they did at the end of last year. And you also wouldn't have been surprised if Vitality just rolled. And that's kind of like, I think with the exception of Mouse and Falcons have to figure out how to close, but they have the talent to be in finals consistently. It's hard for them to be considered winners. But there's now a pool of probably somewhere in the 4 to 8 teams range where on any given Sunday they could win. Mm-hmm. Whereas previously I do think it was who can beat Vitality, if anyone. Now it's who can make a run.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Mouse. I literally completely forgot they were even a team. You said Mouse right there, and that just sparked all sorts of stuff in my head. It's just so funny. But I wanted a quick side brief thing I just thought of while you were speaking there is I think it was a couple episodes ago, we had we were doing the thing where how many different winners we think we're going to have
Will
this
it be
season.
more than 2 in the first half?
Yeah, it's like we had that, and already a big wrench has been thrown into that because none of us at that time were ever thinking PARIVISION was going to be one of the ones that get the win.
Hey,
we were just like, was it Vitality or Furia? Maybe the Falcons get in there and get one.
Yeah.
Like now we have PARIVISION before any of those claim a title. So,
And I'm pretty sure if you go back to that, what we said was the only way it would be 2 or less would be if probably Furia and Vitality going to run. And then honestly, out of all of the teams, they probably looked like 2 of the shakiest in their current form. And now we already have PARIVISION with a win.
Yeah.
No offense to PARIVISION, I doubt they go back to back. So we're probably going to be at 2 in 2.
First 2 events. Yeah. I think that's already blown up. There's going to be more than 2 winners before the first major, 100%.
There might be in the first 3.
I hope we see a bunch of winners. Like you said, I think that just makes for a better competition. There's a lot more fans that can get involved. No one likes to see just one person just reigning supreme, except if you're a fan of them. Like Pat, I'm sure he had a great first of the year last year watching Vitality win everything. But no one else had fun watching that.
He had lots of croissants and bagels.
Don't forget about all the French people now. I'm sure they had a lot of fun watching that.
Yeah. But the majority of the Counter-Strike fans didn't have fun watching that. So I think it's cool to get, if you're invested in a certain team and thinking that you have a chance to win an event, that's always the best way to watch an event.
And it's also one of those, again, when I think about this Vitality being on top concept, it's like we just had Jame come in and win for the first time since 2022. There's a lot of other players that could start that kind of comeback. Like we're still, in the grand scheme of things, we're still very early on in the Counter-Strike 2 era. We just got a reasonably big update last year that made it a little bit more CT-sided, which probably is very supportive of the crazy save strats of Jame. But we're going to keep seeing weird stuff happen. We're going to bring in new maps. We now have Anubis that's going to play different and unique. We might get a new map in the summer, and it's going to continue to change the map pool. So I think we are getting to a point where maybe Vitality had a little bit of an edge early, but it now feels like either everybody's caught up or they've stepped back. I don't know which one, but no matter what, we've got a pretty big pool of teams that can win.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, the new Anubis this coming week in Krakow. See if anybody's boosting up through that little.
All those rushes water, man. I can't wait to see it. It's insane. We're playing the other day.
So
like
fast,
CT can get to that hole and into the water before the T's can even get there. It creates it makes
not only
it scary.
that, but like if they fall correctly, they're behind the pillar and you don't see them.
Yeah.
And I feel like you don't get the sound cue of the water splash. And then it's like all of a sudden there's a dude there with a P90 who just gets a 4K. Ask Locke about that.
The thing that I was doing last night too is like if you get the person that goes E-box and looks down docks, if they get in a gunfight and then you drop, there's literally like no chance they hear you drop. So then you just slide out from the pillar and you just surprise them. It's like a 2-piece every time.
It's insane. But speaking of the IEM event, we're going to Krakow this weekend. We're starting the stage 1. Now we do have some big teams in that stage, so it is going to be a little bit of a fun time. So let's start off with the Big Dogs. Now, PARIVISION is in stage 1. They were not previously a big dog. Now they're a real big dog coming off a defending win. We also have Pat's most beloved big dog team, Aurora. And then we've got many others in here. Of the big dogs, who do you think is, kind of sitting pretty in this? Shouldn't really be worried about stage 1. This is just a warm-up, tune-up.
I don't know. I mean, Aurora should be worried, obviously, as they always should be. But, I mean, I think this is a good spot for a team like G2. I think they're a team that, not that they don't deserve to be here. They've been very up and down pretty much all of last season, but they did get that London win. So, and now obviously PARIVISION, who is now included in this, coming off of that hot streak win here at the Blast Bounty. I mean, I feel like these are two teams that are pretty certain they're going to have a pretty smooth sailing to be able to get through this first stage. But the thing is the Counter-Strike just has a way with these teams where sometimes a team that looks like they're supposed to go up and looks like they have the advantage just fall flat and never make it. And I don't know, maybe that's just a part of the glory of Counter-Strike. But, yeah, I mean, I see those two as being your big contenders here. And maybe even we don't have Gamer Legion on here. I guess maybe we don't consider them a big dog. At least they're not in the title.
I think they are. With the addition of Snacks, that they're a little bit bigger. I think that they're still
is that a bad joke?
Oh. I think that they're still in this pool. I think they're the 6th or 7th seed. Obviously, you assume the top 8 are going to move on. I think we could just go ahead and start rolling through them. Who are your 4 teams that you think are going to be an absolute guaranteed, would bet the house on, not that we condone betting in any form or fashion, that you would take? What do you got, Davis? Who's your 4 locks?
My locks are going to be Gamer Legion.
Okay.
I want to say G2, but I think that their pool that they're in is like a gauntlet. It's them, Passion, NIP, and Liquid. I think 3 of those teams should realistically go 2-0 in advance. So I don't know who. I'm actually going to pick 2 teams from that. I'm going to say G2 advance, and I'm going to say Liquid advance.
Okay. G2 Liquid.
Yep. And then for my last team, I'm actually going to go Foot. And I think that they've been playing really, really well recently. And I think they are in one of the easier groups. They're playing with 3D Max, BC.Game, and Legacy. So I think they have what it takes to beat those two. I think they'll go 2-0 quick.
So you got PARIVISION, Liquid, G2, and Food.
Yep.
That's a crazy 4. We got Pat.
I think for me, it's like obviously I'm gonna keep buying into the hype. I'm gonna go with the PARIVISION.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy into the old school hype, and I'm gonna give it to the BC games here.
Whew.
I'm gonna give them a lock. All right, Simple is gonna carry their sorry tookuses all the way to the next stage at least. I'm actually gonna go with NRG here. I think that based on their group that they have, I think they have a strong chance of being able to get out of that. And as my last pick, I will go with G2. Like David said, their group is a little bit more contentious, and there's a lot of teams there. It's kind of flippy-floppy, but I think G2 will be able to make it out of that, whether it's 2-0 or 2-1.
Yeah, you would like to be able to think that, I think.
Yep. I'll go ahead and echo your sentiment immediately. My first big lock is going to be G2. I really want to see what they can do this year. This is another one of those to where I think it's a realistic outcome. Like I always got a little bit surprised with PARIVISION. And G2 is one of those teams. I mean, they did it last year in London. I think we can see it again. I'm not saying it's going to be this event, but I think they'll probably snag at least one this year that's an important event. And this could be a great starting point for them. They're a sneaky good team. I think PARIVISION will keep on rolling. I can't imagine Aurora keeps looking bad. They have to be one of the teams that come out, but they just look really sketchy right now. They don't look like they're gelling as a new roster. It seems like they're really committed to they don't like the IGL setup, but they don't have another alternative, and it just looks like they're playing bad as a result of it. I really do hope that team splits up because they have a generational player on there, and it's unfortunate watching them be miserable. But I have to go with PARIVISION for that side. G2, I think as we go down the setup, I can't imagine 3D Max keeps playing bad. I'm going to go with 3D Max as the lock out of that group. I do think Simple will probably make it through, but I think 3D Max is just a little bit safer of a bet. And then in the last one, at this point, I have to commit to the bit. It's the same as CJ down on the Mongols hit. We got to go with Pain. I mean, it is what it is. Like, they can't be this bad forever. They did do a roster swap, so they're a little bit kind of coming in a little bit new and fresh, but I think Snow and those guys will get it together. And I'm not saying they're going to be consistently pushing for finals, but I think they should be consistently escaping these stages.
Yeah. I didn't pick anybody from that group. I don't know who's going to advance from that one. I think BA. I think literally all these teams have a
could
chance.
do it too because Astralis looks real nice.
Yeah.
I think going international is a good move for them.
B8 was really good at the end of the year last year. They were good at both majors, really.
Also, in our predictions, I had them stepping up a good bit, moving up in the rankings too. So, I mean, there's a lot that I like to see. I'd like to see BC.Game. I think you want to talk about the best story for Counter-Strike, it's probably BC.Game moving on. It's probably Aurora moving on.
You didn't buy into the hype. You didn't buy into the Simple hype. You preached it every time on this show. You can't get his name out of your mouth.
The thing about the Simple hype is if you watch that Rio qualifier, I stayed up far too late. Not nearly as late as those guys. It was like 6 in the morning for them. But I stayed up watching that, and what I learned from that match is, dude, Simple can carry harder than Donk, and they can still lose. And they can still lose. I don't know what that Sol core cost a lot of money, and I do not think they are getting the results that they paid for with that.
It's a tough break for them right there. It's a tough break. They're coming in renewed.
I hope so.
It's good cow. This is a big deal. They're going to be on their game.
It's also land too, so it's going to be different vibes. I also think everybody's always a little bit afraid of Simple, no matter how much they want to admit. Maybe Zywoo, maybe Donk, maybe a few guys in the world don't have a little bit of like hesitation when you're in the server with them. But I think in person, him sitting across from you, I think it's going to hit different. Yeah. I think it's going to be one of those where like I think they're going to come out against Legacy and he's going to do something quick early, and Legacy's going to be like, oh, that man's back. I mean, you already saw ESL's pumping it.
I think it's really exciting too, the fact that this is stage 1 and there's like a bunch of matchups that you're really excited to watch. Like that one with the BC.Game, that's always exciting because you have Simple, but then you have teams like Gamer Legion, PARIVISION, G2, Liquid, like all these NIP, all these teams are like pretty good contending teams.
100%. I mean, Heroic PARIVISION is going to be a really good. Those are 2 really good games. Aurora versus Gamer Legion, like that's a good coin flap. Really, really good game. And then even if you go down to like 3D Max Foot, both of those teams are in a really good form. Like that could go either way for those squads.
Yeah, so it'll be fun to watch a stage 1 like that.
So if we flip to the bad side, who are your 4 auto no chances? Like who are we think are just going to straight bounce? I'll go ahead and let you deliver the death blow early, Pat. Just let them down easy.
I don't know. I think I mean, just like we were saying, I think it's tough now with a lot of these teams because it just seems like so much of a flip-flop. But I don't know. I am going to go with Legacy. It will be my first one for a team that's not going to make it. they ended my beloved Vitality streak, and I will never let them live that down.
Okay. They lose every game going forward.
They are auto out of this tournament. And then it gets difficult, man. I think I want to go with, I don't share your love for Pain like you do. I'm going to auto kick them out as well. I think they got, there's a couple new people coming in. I think it's just not quite time yet. I think that maybe they do have potential to still keep climbing, but it's still a little early. Passion UA, I'm sorry. I gave one American team going forward, so I got to have another one going out. We just can't have them all. It's just not appropriate. And finally, last but not least, I'm going to say it right here because I don't like them. It's Aurora. I think they're going to get bounced again. I think it's possible. I think this team is looking terrible right now. I don't think they're going to make it. I think they're just going to choke and fumble their matches. I hate to say it, Turkey, but
I hate to say it, Turkey.
it is what it is right now.
I'm going one from every group. Heroic gone. I have Passion UA gone. I have Legacy gone. Same with you. I think the end of the year last year really exploded them. I think it was either stage 1 or 2 they lost last year really unexpectedly at the major. I thought they were going to be advanced and they went 0-3. So I don't think they're in a really good spot. And then for the last team, I'm actually going to break your heart here, and I'm going to say NRG goes 0-2, gets bounced.
Get out of here. Where's your
I just don't
love?
have faith in them, bro. I just don't have faith in them. I would love to have faith in them. It's kind of like Lake said today. So we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah, to me, I'm going to, as much as I want to die on the Freedom Fighters and North America's got another chance, it doesn't feel like it's this week. I'm going to go with NRG. I think they just, in that group, I think B8's really good. I think BA is probably going to pants them pretty bad. I don't think that's going to be nice. And then your best bet is you get a Pain, and Pain is at some point
they're not losing the Pain. Oh, you're crazy. Is this an American show or not? Or where is this show based in? Are we not in America?
Hey, let me go ahead and rip this Band-Aid all the way off. Passion is going to be the next one.
And the reason, gracious,
dude, they're going to have to go up against Jesus.
That's fine with that one. I get that one.
You're going to play
Passion UA.
You're going to play a Scary Heavy God. And then
sometimes Scary Heavy God. Let's be real. I love the man, but let's be real.
Hey, but you also got great calls over there. We've got the great Nico Cousin leading things over there. There's lots of things to like on G2. But then on top of that, afterwards, you're gonna have to play an Elige probably.
Okay. Or the rest of Liquid is. I'm trying not to be too hateful here.
I'm pretty sure they did just say that. I think the current rumor mill is that NAF is short for this world on that roster. I think he's going to be going. So I do think there's a chance Liquid could get rolled because NAF knows the door is closing. But also, hey, Dexter won an event on his way out. Maybe we could see some freak stuff. I'm going to give Liquid's going to be my dark horse hope here. So that's why I got a Can Passion UA. I'm actually going to go against you, and I'm going to say I think Foot is going to be the one in that one that gets double bounce. Again, I think 3D Max, that's going to be a close game. If they win it, I think they probably move through. But if they lose it, then you're probably going to play a Legacy than a BC.Game. And I think that Simple's going to pull through. I don't think he can get this. You got to have this for VRS points. Yeah. If they do not go deep in this, chalked, can the team buy another core other than Simple and move on and hope for the best? And then on the top side, I got to go Gamer Legion. And I think it's just because I definitely think Paravision's going to go through, and I don't think Xantaris is going to let Turkey fall like this. I don't think
he's been letting them fall. What do you mean?
I think he's got to put his foot down at some point, and I think unfortunately it's for Gamer Legion. Unfortunately for Snacks, that's how it goes.
Okay. I can see it happening. I also think that's Foot's worst case scenario is Legacy beating BC.Game. And then after losing your first match to that 3D Max, playing Simple in an elimination match. I think that's when what you talked about earlier. Like, you're looking across the stage and you're like, dude, that's Simple over there. Like, I heard myths about this guy, and we're playing him for elimination. You're cooked.
They win the pistol, gets an op second round.
Yeah,
oh, God.
You're just cooked at that point.
Just FF. We're done. Other than that, is there anything exciting for this event you guys are, excited for? I mean, we get Simple back on land. We get a lot of good teams early, and then we're obviously going to get a lot of good teams late, too. But
I'm excited to watch NIT. I think they were really good at the end of last year. I'm also excited to watch Mouse as they come back to competition. Hopefully they revamp their kind of mentality in the offseason.
Nobody is excited to watch Mouse. Let's just be real. I'm excited for Simple just to play again to see how this is going to go. Obviously, he made that move a while back, and everybody was excited, and it's been kind of hush-hush. Don't know what's really happening. So getting him back up here, maybe them having a deep run would be cool, obviously.
Do you think that the Rio qualifier, them getting DFR'd, made this more exciting or less exciting?
I think it made it more exciting because
Because they
like,
have to win.
yeah, but
Or go
just
deep.
because if they get double bounced again, it's like I
over.
will just laugh my evil maniacal laugh and be excited again.
I
at,
want
like,
to go.
simple. It ain't got nothing to do with Zaiwu. Another name you can't keep out of your mouth. It's got only thing to do with just simple in his play style. And you made me lose my train of thought with my other thing. I'm also excited to just see PARIVISION play again and see if this was like a fluke or if they are really here to stay.
Yeah, I hope they are. I mean, it's a crazy VRS move. That's also what I think when we did our predictions for the year. It's the way the VRS and HLTV rankings and invites and all that stuff works are like you pretty much have to be in the top half. And once you're in the top half, like Team Liquid tried their best to get knocked out of the getting invites, but they managed to kind of keep on long enough to where they can make some runs. But if you're BC.Game and Legacy and Food and a lot of these other teams that are kind of on the fringe, you start getting DFR'd in these events, you don't get invited back.
Yeah.
Just because of the way the point system works. And then it takes getting all the way to a major because it's a bigger pool, and then you got to make a crazy deep run like PARIVISION, like Legacy, like some of these other squads were able to do to get enough points to be in. So these are really do or die. And actually, I think that part is probably more exciting because, like, as morbid as it is, you're like watching teams literally fight for their lives. Like they're fighting to keep playing more Counter-Strike. So I think it's a little bit more exciting on that side. And then on the top side, it's like, dude, Aurora, it's like that's sad to watch. Like we don't want to see this.
Is it?
I mean,
am I supposed to feel sorry for them?
maybe.
I don't understand.
Wait, hey, if we're nice to Turkey, me and you can go get hair
I think-
transplants. That's the upside.
It's not against. I
gotta
don't have.
support
I don't
these
have a
guys, bro.
problem with Turkey. I don't have anything against any Turkish people. It's just the team itself is just. It's just not that good. You got Xantaris and you got Woxic every now and then.
What about I thought you liked the IGL a lot. I thought you liked him.
No, he's like the worst rated IGL in existence.
I thought he was like your
And
favorite.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I'm going to say it wrong again. And then say like we're in the army and the
Major Corporal.
But yeah, I mean they need some roster swaps, and it wasn't Joda that needed to go. I mean, I guess you can argue maybe he still needed to go, but
One thing that I do think is sad about this, because I'm not an Aurora fan by any means necessarily. I don't dislike them, but I'm not a fan of them either. But
Specific words.
I mean, they were a good team at the start of last year. Like before they were Aurora, when they were Eternal
EF,
Fire, they were actually building like some momentum. They were actually becoming really good, and then they just swapped orgs, and it's like they just plummeted. They did do well at the EWC, but that was the only thing they did get in.
We did make this joke, and maybe
Bucharest.
the cat's out of the bag in the sense of we were comparing it to the last major when the Red Canids were about the knockout phase, about the 12-month swing of phase going from major final to getting first rounded by the Canids. Plot twist, they made it back to the final.
They paid to the final. Yeah.
But Aurora, same thing. They were in the final of the first Blast Bounty versus Spirit, like looking like this is going to be a good year. They're going to be able to do it. They got a win towards the end of last year. They looked at times decent under the Aurora banner, but then it's like, dude, it feels like it's so far away.
Yeah.
It feels like it's honestly, they've done and been more successful than Mal's in the past 12 months. But dude, they feel so much further.
Yeah, most events last year they were like actually horrible to watch, and then they had a couple events where they were like, okay, they're actually maybe they're building back to what they were in Eternal Fire.
Yep. So we've got a little bit of all chat coming up. What were the things you thought have been cool over the past week and things you want to shout out? Pat, lead us off.
For me, it just kind of goes to what we were talking about earlier with just, I didn't necessarily agree with this lower third, so I'm just going to throw that out there for the viewers, okay? I'm not saying it's going to be the best season ever. My thought process right now was just after seeing a lot of these top teams compete, and obviously this is the first big tournament for them, a lot seems shaky, and obviously PARIVISION won, so it's looking like going for this 2026 season. We could be seeing, as David said earlier, a lot of winners. It seems like there could be a lot of different teams that are going to be kind of battling back and forth for the very top position and getting that W. And I think that will provide a better overall experience for Counter-Strike as a whole, because as much as I am a Vitality fan, yes, watching them winning is great, but I guess we got to think about the other folks in the game and around the world as well, too. So we got to let some other people come in and win. And this looks like the season where maybe that could be the possibility, or I'm just wrong and Vitality's going to do it all over again.
I think the big highlight from your weird little diatribe here is that because we just got this little PARIVISION sneaky win here, I think what deep down Pat really wants is he wants a great NA renaissance. And I think that if you think that PARIVISION can sneak a win in here, maybe M80 can sneak a win.
I did say in one of the things that NA was going to get a win. Yep. NA, either like an A or an S.
An A. Yeah, at least an A.
Yeah,
we would like an S, but let's be realistic.
And I still believe that.
No,
I still believe that is possible.
I think that we're probably going to have one of the most diverse years in terms of winners, especially at this pace, because we decided. I think the PARIVISION came in like the 13th seed. The 13th seed is winning your first event. It's going to be a good time, especially if this one goes to if Vitality, Spirit, pretty much if it's just Vitality or Spirit don't win this one. Maybe you could argue Furia. If any of those three don't win it, yours is going to be wide open. I mean, if Falcons get their first win, they could go on a hot run. That might be the only thing they're missing. Mouse, who knows? We've never seen them win. We don't know what could happen if they get hot. So, who knows? You also might get a G2 run. It might get exciting. So, I agree with the lower third in the sense of I think it might be the best season ever. Vitality also could win the next 12 events and it not be the best season ever. We don't know.
That would still be a pretty tough. I mean, that might actually technically, if they did that, that might be the best season ever
for an individual.
They would
for one
for a
country.
team. They would solidify themselves as like Counter-Strike's like greatest team ever. So that would probably be like the best season like ever, right?
That is true.
Agree? You know what I'm saying?
That is
Let's
true.
go French. People love French.
Oui. You agree with them? Best season?
I think it'll be exciting. I hope there's a lot of winners. I really do because I'm tired of watching Vitality win everything, and I honestly don't want to see any team win everything. I want to see a good competitive landscape where we have a bunch of different teams winning, a bunch of different supporters or different fan bases being able to support their team and kind of talk trash on Twitter and get their time to shine.
You wouldn't be saying that if Falcons was the one winning every single tournament.
I would.
And bro would be in here just like, yeah, man, like, Falcons they're just too good. I told you guys that Nico said this was going to be their season. They was ramping up, and now you guys are just living in it.
If they win just one event, that's enough.
I mean, yeah, for them, I guess
they will. It'll be like Cluj, Napuka, or somewhere nobody's at.
I'm saying if they win one event that's like not the major, that'll be enough because they'll be ready for the major.
Oof. Low expectations for your team there, Davis. I was expecting a little bit more.
That's all we need.
Hey, he's a City fan. That's all he can do right now is low expectations.
Oh, we're not bringing the soccer into the Counter-Strike show. All right, let's keep that to the side.
No, I do think that it's going to be diverse this year, which will be different. I don't anticipate we're going to see big runs like last year. Like we literally got Spirit and Vitality were the only winners, and through the first major, when all the big boys were in attendance. I don't think that's going to be the case, which is good. I think that's really good for Counter-Strike. You want to see more of that. Because my topic is what's not good for Counter-Strike. I think this last weekend, it was fun. It was great. I appreciate Jame Time. I'm also a huge baseball fan. I would love nothing more than to watch a 1-0 game that is an absolute picturesque pitcher duel or great defensive soccer at scale for 90 minutes in a 1-0 game. I think those are beautiful things to watch. The casual fan completely disagrees with me. That's why I think Jame Time is really, really bad for Counter-Strike overall. Because the casual viewers do not want to see four-man saves. We got multiple rounds in a row where only one person died because they were doing weird, massive saves. I think that while a really cool strategy and something I'm really glad is able to be successful at Counter-Strike, it's not sustainable, and long-term, this will probably hurt Counter-Strike. So I do hope for the quality of viewership and entertainment. I do hope PARIVISION is a little bit thwarted here and isn't a staple in finals and semifinals. But that's kind of my big takeaway from the weekend of I like it. It's cool. I'm also a big Counter-Strike guy. I understand why a casual fan is going to be like, why are we saving 4 straight rounds? We have 4 people alive.
100%. I think it's I cannot stand the cheesy stuff like that. Like, guys, there's 4 of us alive. Why are we not trying to win the round? Like, this is just stupid.
I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I get your standpoint of, like, from the casual perspective. Like, of course, they're probably not going to enjoy it because every, like, little head out there in the audience thinks they're the greatest in the world, and they were like, yeah, we should go for this 4v5. Like, why are we saving? We're not thinking. We're just going. And sure, Premier games, that's how they go, and that's fun and exciting. I don't want us in the Premier game to save with 4 of us. Just go for it. Shoot for the stars. But I don't know.
I mean, I'm shooting these stars.
I think no, actually, you're shooting the floor. But anyway, Jame Time, sure, I don't think any other team's going to pick it up anyway. Like, I don't think they're really going to go out of their way for something like that. Like, sure, maybe.
They got more respect than that.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think they can. I think it's just how.
You don't think they can? They're not capable?
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, when I look at him going to PARIVISION like that, he obviously played on VP for a long time, and VP was built into the strategy. But it's also a game that literally went longer. Whereas, like, now when you look at it, it's like, dude, you have young, really good talent around you that in the nicest way, he's probably like, dude, sit down, shut up. I've won a major. Listen to me. You're going to hate it. You're not going to like it, but we're going to win. And he just won. And I bet those 4 kids on his team that are all young, good, talented players are all probably like, yo, let's keep doing the weird stuff. And I was like, bro, like,
maybe until they don't win anything else the rest of the year and just fall flat and fall back into obscurity. and this was just a one-off. I mean, that could be the outcome right there.
Yeah, and I'm also curious how much it translates to. We see other teams, like especially when you have a team like Spirit, where if it donks on one side of the map and the other side falls, it's like just keep donk guns, whatever. Who cares? Start saving. Hey, this worked versus us. This worked versus Falcons. Blah blah blah. And it's like I think you might start seeing a little bit more of that. And again, I enjoy it. I think it's a cool tactical way to play, but I'm also not the person that's like you said, every casual in the world, they like Simple because Simple pulls off the 1v3s. He pulls off the 1v4s. He does the stuff that you think is impossible. And Jame is the inverse of that. A 1v3 is not realistic. I'm saving this $4,700 gun. I'm not doing that.
He did 1v3 one time on
He did.
Mirage against Falcons.
You think he still has it in there? I don't know. It's an interesting one. Like, I mean, maybe some other teams should be smarter about their economy. I feel like I see a lot of times, just specifically a lot of the top teams, they will just constantly force themselves into pretty much just like half buys from a team perspective. Like maybe a couple members will have M4s and like some utility, and then you'll have like a guy with a Deagle and then a guy with the FAMAS and like an MP9, and you're constantly buying into these not full-on rounds, and then you're just constantly getting smacked in the face by like a full util setup AK squad with an opper. So I don't know. It's an interesting one, and maybe there is something to learn there, but I think – yeah, sure. If we were saving that much, yeah, I think it would suck, honestly, like from a viewership perspective. But like you said, I do appreciate the methodicalness that goes into it and the thinking ahead. And I think there's a space for that as well. And, you know, in this brain dead crowd of people who just say, go run W key.
It's also one of those where it's just not, when I think of the coolest plays from last year, unfortunately, most of them are at the Falcons' expense. But it is one of those things where it's like you're probing the site to try to see if you can get a pick, to see if you can do anything exciting, to see if like, hey, their Inferno B-hole doesn't look that good, even though they're post-plant defense right now. Let's see what it's like. And it's one of those like, hey, you get the pick and then you collapse on them and you go. Whereas like the way they're doing their 4-man saves is it's like on Dust, they had people on long and in mid, and then the one dude on B died. You literally just go to pit. And I'm like, they just planted. Like you're about to sit in pit for literally a minute with 4 alive and util, but you're just doing this for the sake of the economy? Like, that's crazy. And it's like, it's crazy until 3 rounds later it works and they got so much economy that they can basically buy for the whole rest of the game. And it's like, oh my God, these guys are geniuses. It's like they're always playing 4 or 5 rounds ahead. But as a casual viewer, it's like, yo, this sucks.
Like, do something.
Go fight them.
You're just, you're literally just sitting there for a minute and a half.
Do something.
Yeah. It's exactly like how we felt last year when we watched Liquid on Inferno. It's like they would literally save. It's like, oh, they got B again. Just go save A. It's like, but they're doing it on maps like Dust and other maps where it's like it's an uncommon thing to see. And again, I enjoy it. I think it's cool, but I understand why most people, they want to see the 1vx's. They want to see the crazy pushes. They want to see those highlight moments.
That's what makes it exciting.
That's what makes it exciting. And their version of Counter-Strike is not exciting. It's efficient, and it won, and that's cool. But I think more of it is probably not good.
Yeah, I would agree.
I agree. That's why I don't like to watch like racing and NASCAR and stuff. I need more wrecks. That's what's exciting.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them just methodically trying to pass each other and gain some wind resistance and stuff to get on there. No, I want to see dudes slam wall. Woo!
Wreck him.
That's like the Counter-Strike fan.
If you want to pass him, spin him out.
Yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. Rough racing. That's like the average Counter-Strike fan, right?
You need to watch like
saying.
that World Rallycross. Don't watch F1 because it's this year might be exciting, but previously it's been a snooze fest.
Yeah.
So Davis, what do you got? Let's have something good.
So I have not so good right here, and I don't like this at all because it's tarnishing our nation even more. NA Counter-Strike is at its all-time low, and Lake, one of our best prospects to come out of the NA region recently, has said that he wants to go European eventually. And first off, I want to say that I think it's kind of, I don't know if disrespectful is the word, but he's basically saying that his team's trash, in my opinion. It's like, my team's not good. I want to go to Europe and play with the best people. But my thing is the NA scene is never going to get better if we keep doing this. We've seen it with Elige. Elige is a tremendous talent. He left and went international. If Lake does this, he's left and gone international. That's 2 guys right there that you have the power in you to change the landscape in yourselves. Look at Xantares. He's been a top 5 rifler for a long time in Counter-Strike now, but he's going to be on a Turkish team. It's because he wants the scene to get better. He wants to lead them to the promised land. But then you have all these American guys that are like, nah, I don't want to put the time into like working and trying to formulate this team in North America. I want to go and just jump ship and go to the biggest team that I can right now. And I don't like it.
No, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly. And it's one of those things I joke on the other side, too, of like when I look at Xantares, it's like, Dude gave it 10 years, probably close to 10 years at this point, and like I honor that. That's amazing. But like, if he goes down and never having won a major, it's going to be really hard to say he's one of the top 10, 15 best players of all time, not having won a major.
Yeah.
And like, that's totally a selfless call to make. And like, you want people to do that, especially at a national level, especially when you're a country as big as the U.S. You can't imagine that we're going to be consistently bad at this for so long. But it's like, when we think about that Boston team that made the run, that team was probably the majority of the best Americans in the world at the time. Right now, if you took all the best Americans in the world at Counter-Strike and put them on a team together, they're not going far. And there's just not that many of them. But it is one of those, like, when you look at a Lake or when you look at a Legion, those guys, it's like, they go overseas and plays, it's like, you don't get to see them here. Like, how often does Liquid play in the U.S.?
Yeah, like
They're not. I mean, you got to see Amady go to the Floam thing, and that's cool. And those are all NA teams playing versus the other. And everybody in that room, no offense to anybody in that room, but if that is all NA talent, and the best team there is M80, and you look and you say, Lake is the best kid on that team. I want to be just like him. But next year he's not there. Who's the next person you're pointing to? Somebody whose name 98%, 99% of Counter-Strike competitive fans don't even know their name. And that's who the kids are going to point to. And it's like, you want them to, like, not to say Symbol's like a great idol, probably Zaiwu or somebody else that's maybe a little bit better of a
better PR.
off the server PR setup. But it's like, you want kids to be able to have that. Like, Alicia's a really good dude, but like, you don't get to see him in the U.S. You don't get to see, like, you don't really associate him with being American other than the fact that we beat it to death.
Dude, I heard one thing of him playing this week. It was like a comm where he was making a comm to his team. Dude had a European accent. Get out of here with that. Get out of here, Lee.
I mean, dude, he's probably been over there like 10, 15 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, man.
He's not American anymore. But yeah, I don't know. You know what you said? It just makes me think that, like, that's the problem right there, bro. You're wanting Zanteris to break away from his nationality. That's the problem with the Americans right here. Is like, we already want to branch out because we just feel bad, or this ain't the region. Like, you don't want to be here because if you're here, you're just going to suck and you're never going to be anything of greatness. You know, the Boston was just a fluke. It's never going to happen again. And, you know, we just, like America here, we just don't have no structure for it like they do over there in Europe and Russia and in the Asian countries. Like, we don't have that system to be able to, like, prop up the talent properly. And I don't know if that's because we just don't take esports serious enough over here, or we just specifically just don't take Counter-Strike serious enough over here. But, I mean, I can't tell you a North American esport or an esport where North Americans are dominant besides, like, that is specifically not America mainly only, which would be like Call of Duty. But, you know, I would give it to Valorant, obviously, because, you know, we're two-time champs over there. Represent. Anyway, but it's like there's no structure there for it. So I just don't really see why there's anybody here in America that would want to stay when you're constantly told that Europe is where you want to go to be the great, or Russia or X or whatever, right? It's like there's none of that nationality pride here. I mean, look at our country as a whole. There's no pride anymore, so you just want to leave.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's tough because when I think about Turkey versus the U.S., we're at about 4 times, maybe a little bit closer to 5 times bigger than Turkey. And Aurora, as much flack as we want to give them, they have been consistently a top 10 team for the better part of 2 years now. And, like, that is a team that if they win, and when they do win events, we're not that surprised. If they were to go on a major run, it would be as surprising, if not less surprising, than Boston's major run with C9, right? And that is a team that is a national team from a country that is less than a fourth of our size. You look at the Mongols, also not a significant player base, and they're able to create that. My thing is more of like, if you are Zanteris, you have been giving it that go for 10 years, and it has not developed or curated the talent. If you are Lake, a young player who is coming up and is not like at the end of his career, if he is like, hey, I'm bringing a championship back to America, I don't care if you're 13, 14, 15, 16, I'm going to do it with Americans. This is what we need. Let's come together. You then have a central point of, like, rallying. Like, right now, Zanteris can't be like, hey, 14-year-old IGLs, I'll pick you up in 2-3 years. Like, 2-3 years, he's probably done. Whereas Lake, that's not going to be the case. You're going to hopefully have a good long career. I mean, dude, Alicia's been doing this now for close to a decade. But the whole time he's been doing it in Europe. And, like, that's the hard thing. And, like, sure, FaZe is an American org and TL's an American org, but, like, that's like, bro don't even sound that American anymore. Yeah. Like, he doesn't have no good Southern accent or nothing. Like, he's, like, the most
He's not
European
bringing a trophy
kid
back to America. It's the thing in the mind at the end of the day. Like, those might be American orgs, but they're international Counter-Strike teams. Like, that trophy is quite literally not coming to America. It is going somewhere in Europe. So,
and we've seen it. I mean, we were in last year in Dallas, at the event, and it's like the pride for a liege was crazy. At the major, the chance of USA for a liege is crazy, and it's like I can't imagine if you're Lake, it's like why is it so appealing to be that when like, dude, imagine if it's all 5. The major's coming back to the US in a couple years. If you have an American team ready for that, like it would go so hard. That's why to me it's like again, maybe it was pride out of it, maybe it was out of a weird context. I know it's something from HLTV, but like to me, if I'm his teammates right now, I'm like, yo, what do you on about? Like, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. Like, cool. I'm trying to be at the major in 28. If you're not trying to be at the major in 28 and carry the American flag with 5 Americans,
My biggest thing too is
Good
like
luck.
Legion's won some trophies, but he's never won a major. So like,
Yeah.
come back. I mean, you went over there for 10 years. You tried to win a major. You wanted to be at the top of the game by joining a European team. You haven't done it. Might as well come back and try it here.
you want to talk
What's
about
the
something?
difference?
You want to talk about something that would go hard? A liege comes back, Americans only for the major run in the U.S. in a year or 2 years, whenever it is.
That'd be sick.
Would go hard.
I'm saying if you're not Tarek coming out there with an American flag on your back, who am I really supporting here?
No, I agree, 100%.
I mean, that's hard that we can do that with our flag. I don't think any other country would do something like that. Then we're just kind of hold it. we're bandana and we're wearing it on our back, on our shorts. As we carry the pride.
You say that. I do think Brazil, if it was a major in Brazil and Furia makes a run,
Going crazy.
I mean, I don't doubt they are. I just specifically haven't never seen them use a flag in those ways. Usually it's considered disrespectful to do things like that with the flag.
that's true. As a quick aside, during the little thing, they had these cool boxes during the event last weekend. They showed this thing on Fallen from Furia. Fallen is, I think he said 26th or 27th most famous Brazilian. Anderson Silva, like one of the most winningest UFC fighters ever, was 36. That is how
That's sick.
big Fallen is, and that is how much Brazil cares, which is wicked.
Yeah, that's sick.
And we don't have that.
We don't.
And
'Cause
we
where
probably
is-
never will.
Where is a liege in the most famous Americans? Where is Tarek?
Well, the thing that I think about too is like, think about Americans. How many more people know Anderson Silva than know Fallen? Like in our list as Americans, Anderson Silva would be way more known than Fallen. So it's
Yeah,
like,
but the bad thing is, like, how far away is a liege versus Ninja? And it's like, dude, what has Ninja brought America?
Yeah.
You play with Drake. He's Canadian.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Nonsense. Any other highlights you guys want to shout out this week? Anything you're looking forward to?
no, not really.
No.
Excited for more Counter Strike.
Yeah, I
How
think that's
far
really
away
about
from
it.
getting Premier ranked are we yet?
I think I only have like 3 wins.
I need 4 more wins.
I need
More
7.
wins to get ranked.
So next time we're going to sit here, we're going to have stage 1 completed, and we're all going to be ranked. Is this correct?
Possibly.
I don't know about Davis. I probably will be ranked.
Possibly.
Davis has got to get off a league for the moment.
Oh, yeah,
He's
that's
got to
true.
get a little more.
Well, he's
contract
won now.
games
He's
in.
done. He's basically retired.
Tarkov.
Yeah, Tarkov, which
So what are your guesses? Where do you think he's going to be ranked?
I don't know. Right now, I'm feeling above. I feel strongly if my winning keeps continuing that I think I will place right above 15K. Every lobby besides like when I'm playing solo, I'm still playing with people that have already placed in 17 to 18K. I even had a guy in one of my solo games that was in his promotion game to 20K. That was on my team. So I'm not sure exactly how the MMR works with Counter-Strike, but it seems like I'm playing right now with pink rank. So hopefully if I continue that streak and finish out strong, hopefully I will be within that in the placement.
What about you? Where do you think you're going?
Somewhere between 15 and 20.
That's a big range. I think it's like 17. I think it's like 19.
Like 17.
17.
Actually, maybe a little bit. I think I ended last season in like the high 17, so probably like 16. I'll get placed there.
I started my first one. I was playing with a 14, got destroyed, then destroyed a one with 7s in it. So I'm thinking
Right
low
in the middle.
teens. I'm thinking like low teens. That's what I'm
Like it.
hoping. I had to play a lot of matches with Plover and some of those other guys where some real low lobbies, and we didn't win. So that's probably not helpful.
Plover's a demon.
But it's what's weird is like I feel like you play with the people around you, so it's like that really hurts at times. And it's like there are times you're playing with dudes that like aren't wearing headphones, and it's like I don't. What are you doing,
Dude,
Like, you're tilting me. I can't even care.
That map we played, I'm not even kidding. That map we played the other night on Nuke with like all 5 of us, Plover was popping off a couple rounds. He had some crazy clutches, like
Yeah.
1v1 clutches, head taps.
I don't know for sure. That's where it sucks because it's like I think last season I think he was like stuck at like between 1 and 2K, and it's like I'll play in lobbies with him with other people at his level, and it's like, dude, these guys aren't using headphones. They don't know sights. They're not listening. It's like, how are you playing? Like I don't. What
You
demon?
just go play.
That's
Well,
it.
yeah, but it's like, how do you
Just run
escape
to
that?
it.
Like, how do
Just
you
run to a
escape?
site.
It,
That's
it
it,
feels like you're
Counter-Strike.
just stuck.
The only way to escape is you have to become a donk or a simple of the 2Ks. You just have to be so good at the moment where you just single-handedly go in there and take that side yourself.
Yep.
Dude, what's bad is I feel like I don't even know what can 15Ks like hard carry that.
I think it gets harder there. I think it's still possible in that range because you have such a lot of people in those ranks, the discrepancy between people is like so high. Like you have people that look like they deserve to be higher or right at that rank, and you have a whole handful that just look absolutely terrible. Yeah. Like they don't deserve to be there at all, but yet they've somehow been carried or blessed by the MMR that's
by
got
Gavin himself.
Yeah, that's probably where the next great American talent is right now.
Hey, maybe.
I hope
in the 2K lobby.
I hope not.
We just got a little while. They got to really strengthen up first.
I hope it's no cries. I mean, that's the thing. I want no cries. I want Elige. I want a God squad of Americans.
Who else? That's it.
Well, the others they're probably 16, 17.
We can't throw Lake in there anymore. He wants to leave.
Yeah, we can. He's
traitor.
Even though Elige just technically already left a long time ago, but we'll just bring him back.
He's too good. He's too good not to bring back.
We can't say no.
We'll take him back.
Well, that's all we had today. Thank you guys for watching. Pat is going to want you to join the Discord because then that's what Pat does. He won't leave us alone about it.
He stalks the Discord all day.
He does. He's stalking it every day.
If
you join, it'd be a 10 out of 10 happiness from him. He'd probably send you a direct message thanking you. It's crazy. And then he might even play Tarkov.
Don't get ahead of yourself. I mean, I'll probably play Counter-Strike with some people in the Discord for sure, 100%. I have to play by myself most of the time.
So you're not going to Tarkov raid?
Huh?
Tarkov raid?
Of course
kind of selective about Tarkov.
Yeah, Tarkov's very selective. I ain't going to trust some random with my throw. That's a very elite prestige unit of individuals. Okay?
That's a prestigious unit.
Yeah, that's why you're not invited.
Nah, it's fine.
That's why Seth's not invited.
Before he gets all worked up and excited, we got to head out of here. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.